Welcome, witches.
What's up? I'm Linda,
And I'm John.
and this is Getting Witchy
It is, and this is attempt 2.
3.
This is attempt 3.
Mm.
Holy shit. So third time's a mother loving charm for the discussion of, well, the Hindu gods. But before we can get into the Hindu gods, we have to talk briefly, although it's not briefly because there's so much information, of the Hindu religion. It's a very colorful religion, a very I like it. I mean, to try to put the faith, beliefs, and culture and um, it's ritual into words is pretty much freaking impossible. Um, there's so much to it. So, Hinduism is also known as the Vedic religion, sometimes called the religion of 330 gods.
Million gods.
330 million gods. Thank you.
Which is so. Here's the thing: depending on the source that you read, there's anywhere from 30 gods to 330 million gods. Some of them are avatars of others.
Most of them are avatars
Yes.
of others, like Brahma, Vishnu. What's the other two?
Krishna.
Krishna. Well, not so much Krishna, but him too, to a degree.
And Devi has a bunch of
And
avatars.
Yeah, they all have like literally dozens of avatars. Reincarnations of themselves or aspects of themselves 1,000 years or 500 years after they lived, but they behaved like the original, so they were considered avatars. And with some of them, like with right now with the Chinese, but before the Chinese took over Tibet, the Tibetan, what is he called? The Tibetan ruler or spiritual guide, they sit them down in front of a dozen toys or different things. Half of them belong to the previous Buddha.
Okay.
And he would pick, he or she, well, it's been predominantly he, but they would pick the items from their previous life to be deemed. Anyway,
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Someone out there does. Anyway, I need my glasses. Go ahead. Yeah, so, we're not planned. We're not together. We're not like, I mean, we're together, but we don't have it together right now. Eyes. There's no specific founder. It's difficult to trace the origins and history of Hinduism. It's unique in that it's not a single or singular religion, but a compilation of many traditions, philosophies, and beliefs, including the fact that their gods came to Earth flying in cities. Their gods came to Earth flying in cities called Vimanas. And we're still studying the paper manuscripts of the Vimanas to see if we can actually create a duplicate.
Yes.
But they came in floating cities and fought amongst themselves. Most Hindu, or excuse me, Hindus, what the fuck is that? What, I wrote that? Most Hindis worship I don't know why I wrote that, a supreme creator god, Brahma or Brahman. But acknowledge a multitude of others. And depending on the sect, not SEX, but SECT, just like Christianity, they have sects that venerate Vishnu as the supreme being, or what's the
Krishna?
No, there's, maybe it is.
Are you
I'm
talking
sorry.
like the three major?
Vishnu, Shiva.
Oh, Shiva.
Shiva.
Okay.
Krishna is a later adoration or iteration, but he is an iteration of one of the previous three.
Yes.
So it's either Brahma, Shiva, or
Vishnu.
Vishnu. And then there's the wives of those, which each have like
a million different avatars each.
So we'll go through them briefly. The Trimurti, which is the trinity of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Brahma being the creator, ultimate reality, the supreme spirit and divine consciousness that is present in all things. He is considered the spiritual core of the universe and is eternal, unchanging, and omnipresent. Hindus believe that all living beings have a part of Brahma within them, known as the
Atman.
Excuse me for a second. I was talking to them. Atman. ATMAN.
Okay.
Adam. Adam. The first being. It's a curious correlation if you just adjust enunciations.
Okay.
Okay. Vishnu, the preserver, protector, and sustainer of the universe, the earth, Hindu spiritual values, and Vedic laws. Interesting. Yeah, I really want to read the Vedics. I'm not even gonna lie. Vishnu is also the protector of Dharma, or moral order and proper behavior, and restores balance between good and evil. Often depicted as a blue-skinned man with 4 arms, wearing a large crown, flower garlands, and wrapped in a skirt, and carrying a conch. That's the shell, people. Chakra.
Which is a disc.
Lotus flower, which is obvious, and mace, which is that
the like scepter looking thing
with
the
spikes.
spikies.
He's the major deity of the supreme being in Vaishnavism. Vaishnavism. The second biggest sect, SECT. And well, I have to specify because we're not talking about Brahma taking Vishnu or vice versa. Did I just cross the line? Maybe. Okay, so Shiva.
Shiva, the destroyer of the universe, which he does to make way for a new creation. The Hindus believe that his destructive powers are constructive and that he destroys illusions and imperfections to pave the way for positive change, that he abstains from worldly pleasures and focuses on meditation. He is the protector of the Vedas, the patron of yoga and meditation. He is the master of poison and medicine, which, I mean, they do go hand in hand.
But I love the next part.
He is also known as Nataraja, the cosmic dancer who performs a dance that represents the dissolution of the universe at the end of an eon. He is also the leader of evil spirits, ghosts, thieves, villains, and beggars. The sect of Shaivism holds that Shiva is the supreme being, which all other gods are aspects of.
They all three have their own. And then there's some, like if you really dig deep, I mean, there's aspects. Diva or Devi. Devi. She is the equivalent of the pre-Judeo-Christian goddess Ishtar. She is the goddess of everything.
Yes, she is described as being a goddess or a compilation of goddesses or the energy of the universe or whatever encompasses the universe.
Just want to state that,
depending on the source that you read.
It's very feminine. Many of the gods in the Hindu faith are very feminine. Even the male have it. To me, it appears like they've. I hesitate to say connected with the feminine side because they are. I mean, we're talking about gods, right? I mean, if we're talking about gods, there is no connecting with. They already are. They're everything. So I don't know where I was going with that. But anyway, there was also, or is, Saraswati, the wife of Brahma, and revered as the goddess of knowledge, education, learning, arts, speech, poetry, music, purification, language, and culture. Jesus, motherfucking Christ. She had, okay. And then there's Lakshmi, which I knew someone, I know someone in real life who's, I think the name she preferred to go by was Lakshmi. It's spelt exactly the same. Lakshmi. The wife of Vishnu, also known as Shri, revered as the goddess of wealth, fortune, prosperity, beauty, fertility, royal power, abundance, excuse me. She, along with Parvati and Sarasvati, forms the trinity of, so they have their own trinity.
Yes. Tridevi, excuse me.
And then there's Parvati, wife of Shiva, also known as Durga. Now, there is a creature, I think it's in the newer comics and cartoons. I want to say Transformers. There's a Durga, Durga, which is how that's spelled. It's a robot. I know somebody out there knows what I'm talking about. Somebody's seen it. But yeah, that's weird that there's a cartoon character in cartoons that used to play on Saturday morning at the end because it wasn't early Saturday mornings, it was later towards the end. Some kind of robot fucking where Durga and yeah, anyway. The goddess of love, beauty, fertility, marriage, and the arts, which does not fit the image that was in the cartoon. It was like a big ass, beefy, gray thing with blue symbols. Anyway. Stops looking at me like that. So, and then there's Krishna, god of
Well,
compassion.
we're not done with Parvati yet.
No, I was trying to move on from that.
So Parvati is also considered the goddess of power, energy, nourishment, harmony, and devotion. She was the daughter of Himalaya, who was a god and mountain personification. In order to help her win over Shiva, Parvati took the form of an ascetic, which is a person who engages in heavy self-discipline.
So the concept of the cartoon, where it was a robotic figure the size of a fucking mountain, because it was.
Okay.
Oh, what the hell is that? Okay. No, that's just interesting. Goddess of power, energy, nourishment, harmony, and devotion. Why would they portray, unless they didn't know about this history of, okay. And then there's, we already mentioned Krishna, and then there's Ganesh.
Ganesha or Ganesh, who is also known as Ganapati, Vinayaka,
Yeah,
Lambodara, and
it's the elephant.
Pilayar.
It's the elephant sitting on a, usually sitting and embellished in lots of jewels or gold or decorations. Very comfortable, but an image of wealth and prosperity and good luck and good fortune, which is why you see them in many of those what would you call the shops that we go to with crystals and
metaphysical shops.
You may find one with a statue of Ganesh with description or picture of an animal and description of where all the money goes to, but it's basically drop the money there to help whatever they're trying to do, and by default help yourself, because that's what Ganesh is about, right? I'm close with that.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can.
Okay. Oh, you don't want to talk about Hanuman. Okay, so Hanuman, Hanuman, also known as the Maruti. There's also another name for them about this fucking long with
Bajrangabali.
37 letters.
And also the Anjaneya.
If you look at Hindu art, you will find, undoubtedly, you will find images of beings that walk upright, have very masculine or physically human bodies, but a very apish face. The story behind this, and I'm going to do a real brief. So a god, I think Rama, needed help finding his wife, who was abducted by another god in the terms or view of the people living at the time. The person was a god, had the same technology as Rama did, took his wife. He needed, and then hid on an island. Rama, for whatever reason, needed assistance that did not involve as much technology. Like that's kind of the view that I got from reading the story. Like he needed to do something that did not use technology. And then genetically enhanced these beings to build a bridge to the island. And today the bridge is still there. Technically, it's a long pathway. There was a battle 5 years ago or so, something around there, where they wanted to cut through and barge through that bridge. And the Indian parliament wouldn't let them do it because it was in the Vedas that this pathway was created by the god Rama. So to destroy it, just so ships could pass through, is absurd. And you can look it up. It's mind-blowing, the information that's out there. Anyway, he created these beings and they helped him find his bride and win her back. They are neither monkeys or apes or possibly a race of forest-dwelling simian peoples, but he altered them. And it basically says that in the Vedic text. So that's, I understand why you didn't want to go into that one. And then Rama, the god of truth and virtue, another avatar of Vishnu. Considered the perfect embodiment of humankind, mentally, spiritually, and physically. Unlike other Hindu gods and goddesses, Rama is widely believed to be an actual historical figure whose exploits from the great Hindu epic Ramayana, which we just talked about. Hindu faithful celebrate him during Diwali, the Festival of Light. Well, they celebrate many during the Festival of Light. And if you've not like seen the Festival of Light, YouTube search it. It's amazing. There's so much going on. It's really cool. Anyway.
Next up, we have Durga, who is another depiction of the mother goddess known as Devi. She represents the fiery powers of the gods. She is the protector of the righteous and destroyer of evil. She is usually portrayed as riding a lion and carrying weapons in her many arms. So she's often depicted as having, I think, 18.
Yeah. What's funny is there was another one, I don't remember which one because I didn't add it into the information, but there was one that's always depicted as riding it on a mouse. I don't remember which one that is, so I'm not. Okay, go ahead.
And then we have Kali, who is
badass,
considered an avatar of Parvati. She's also known as the dark goddess. She appears as a fierce four-armed woman with her skin either being blue or black.
Usually with blades.
Yes. She stands atop her husband Shiva, who lies calmly beneath her feet. She is often blood-soaked with her tongue hanging out, and she is the goddess of death and represents the ceaseless march of time towards doomsday.
And Shiva lies beneath her feet in reverence to her. It's not if you read the story or the poetic whatever they have, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, he willingly lays on the ground and she places her foot on him as his submitting, but yet in other aspects, he definitely does not submit. But it's like, to
So
me,
it's not so much that she defeated him, it's that he submits.
yeah, and she submits at other times. Like it's a there's no, I mean, to me, and I could be interpreting it wrong. I mean, I'm not Hindu or Hindi, but the way I've read the story, and the way I read it a couple different ways, is that he's submitting because it's his turn to.
Okay.
Which I find interesting. But Varuna, associated with the sky, oceans, and water. And the Vedic scriptures, he is paired with the god Mitra and the Lord. When I looked this up, it's capital RTA. When I looked this up for pronunciation, it was Rita.
Okay.
And Satya. Varuna is also mentioned as an
Aditya.
What?
Aditya.
Okay. The sons of the goddess Aditi. Rita is a Sanskrit word that means order, rhythm, rule, or truth. In the Vedic religion, it is the natural law that governs the universe and everything in it. Rita is responsible for the proper functioning of the natural, moral, and sacrificial order. Jesus fucking Christ. What was I? So are we doing
What?
a paper for our doctorate, or is this some Jesus? Okay.
So next we have Satya, which is a Sanskrit word translated as truth or essence. It also refers to a virtue in Indian religions, referring to being truthful in one's thoughts, speech, and action.
Which would explain why so many, I mean, say whatever you want, but every person I've ever met from that region of the world, whether they follow this or one of the others that are closely related, they're all about being honest and helpful. Like, serious. That's like, I'm just saying.
Aditi, the goddess of motherhood, consciousness, unconsciousness, the past, the future, and fertility. Well, I mean, I guess you can't really have one without the other, can you?
Well,
like you can't have the past without the future, right?
But
she is the mother of the celestial deities known as the Adityas and is referred to as the mother of many deities.
Again, an aspect of Devi or Devi. Is it Devi or Devi? Yeah, Devi. I
pronunciation.
And then you have
Kartikeya.
That sounds like something that should come from a fucking Marvel movie. Also known as Ganda, Subramanya, not soup. There's no P. Subrahmanya.
Okay, fine. Subramanya.
And then Shanmukha. Or whatever, you know what? All of them. I'm sorry. I mean, no disrespect, but.
So who is Kartikeya?
The Hindu god of war. He's generally described as the son of the deities Shiva and Parvati, and the brother of Ganesh, where Ganesh was extremely peaceful. Always, I mean, every depiction of Ganesh is he's chilling.
Yeah.
He's chilling. He's got a glass of, whatever. He's chilling. And here his brother is going to war. Makes sense. I mean, the Greeks did the same thing, so did the Romans. How? That was my shoulder.
Chamunda.
Chamunda, also known as Chamundwari, Chamundai, Chamanika, is a fearsome form of Chandi. Excuse me, Chandi, the Hindu mother goddess. Devi or Devi. Adi Parashakti. If it wasn't for Call of Duty, I wouldn't be able to pronounce that. You know that, right? Okay. Even though I destroyed it, I still did reasonably good. Parashakti, not Call of Duty, Star Wars, because there was Shakti, was a Jedi. Anyway, someone over there is laughing right now, even though you're not. And is one of the 7 matrikas. That sounds Mexican. Well, it does. Matrikas, mean it. Anyway. Also known as one of the chief yoginis, a group of 64 or 81 tantric goddesses. So again, now we haven't really talked. I mean, some of them have been avatars of other gods previous, but here is a prime example.
Yes.
The Chamunda is either part of a group of 64 or 81 tantric goddesses.
And they are the attendants of the warrior goddess Parvati.
Now, if Parvati has several groups of 81, I mean, where do they get the 330 million gods? Like, we've done some research and we've found a lot, several thousand, I think, but 330 million?
We haven't read the text though.
No, we have not. And I want to be honest. That's on my bucket list. All right. Balarama is the elder brother of Krishna, sometimes considered a Vishnu's 8th or 9th avatar, and sometimes not.
Right.
And then Baravari is a Hindu goddess described as one of the 10 avatars of the goddess, of the mother goddess, but it doesn't say which mother goddess, because there's been multiple mother goddesses.
Yes.
But ultimately, they're all from Devi. That's what I'm saying. It's really, really interesting. It's in a way mind-blowing. And makes me even more curious. I'm not gonna lie, because I already have not affiliation with, but affinity towards that, because I believe in karma and I believe in reincarnation. And you know, for those of you that believe in Christianity, Christ went to the East, the Far East, to learn their teachings and things. So anyway, and then
we have Bhuvaneshwari, the goddess of the material world, embodiment of space, and the nurturing aspect of the divine. She
is the 4th amongst the 10
Mahavidya goddesses.
Well, I think Bhairavi is another iteration of, I mean, look at the similar, like maybe the male.
Well, but Bhairavi is a Hindu goddess, so maybe
the male aspect of, I know.
What I was gonna say is that last one was another aspect of Bhairavi or Bahavari, whatever her name is. Anyway,
there's a lot.
There is a lot.
And I will be the first to admit that I've done better with the research, honestly, because it was easier. Like there's so much. There is so much. Much respect. But yeah, there's some amazing aspects and stories behind all of it. I mean, there's some stories we didn't even get into because it's not necessarily
I would like to read the Mahabharata.
I do too. I do too. But yeah, so do your research. But that's a quick rundown. I mean,
Yes.
you're basic. Okay, so if you want to stick with the core would be Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, Sarasvati, Lakshmi, Parvati, Krishna, and Ganesh,
Well, and
and Hanumana.
you
Um,
might also want to throw Debbie in there too, because she's pretty freaking important.
oh, I didn't include. Oh, my bad.
she
Yes,
was-
Debbie. She is the mother goddess. Without her, there are no other female like Parvati and all of them.
We kind of mentioned her when we
Saraswati.
got to Durga,
Yes, but we
because
didn't
Durga
really.
is a aspect, but Devi is like the all-encompassing.
Oh, I didn't mention her at all, did I? My apologies. So Devi is the supreme goddess. She is the goddess that every other, including Kali, who's fierce and terrifying, and Indiana Jones talked about when he was shaking this, when they were hanging from the rope ladder, and he was talking about, you disgraced Kali.
Mhm.
He was calling upon the energy and power of Kali to make the stone glow, to burn through the bag and fall. So the bad guy witch doctor didn't get. He was calling upon Kali.
Okay.
But just interesting little side things that I found along the way. Anyway, thank you for watching. I am so sorry. We're so sorry that it took this long. The last of this series is the Sumerian gods,
Yes.
which we actually, ironically, are already about a third of the way through the creation.
Researching.
Yeah. So that will be happening soon. Thank you for watching. I hope, well, we should get it out before Christmas, right?
Yeah. Well, yes.
Yeah, it'll get out before Christmas. So hope you guys have a good November holiday. I'm not gonna call it Thanksgiving, because if you really look up the history, it's not Thanksgiving at all. But give thanks to those you love and honor them. Thanks for watching.
Peace out,
Peace.
witches.